Whoa. Okay, somewhat successful. I'm Dan, and I've been designing kitchen gadgets for 40 years. I'm gonna test some fruit gadgets and see if I can find a way to make them better. So basically what you're doing is screwing the tube down. I think I would exaggerate that curve a bit. I'd put some holes in here. These are the products I am going to test. Destapa banana filler, watermelon slicer, Cocoa Taps coconut tapper, citrus sprayer, strawberry slicer. Destapa banana core. Its purpose in life is to core out the middle of a banana so you can fill it with something delicious, which probably means something more fattening than the banana. Let's test its effectiveness. There is a core plunger. It looks like the metal part will take out the core. Let's place the banana. It doesn't exactly want to place perfectly. Let me give it a tighter squeeze and a plunge. And let's see what we get. Okay, I was in, I'm out. I didn't get the core. I did poke a hole in. So let me see if I can finagle some way to get the core out of here. Oh, twisting it seemed to help a bit. Whoa. Okay, somewhat successful. Open my Hershey's syrup and start pouring in slowly. Let it drizzle down. Whoop! Not gonna let that go to waste. Get ready to be sticky when you do this. And yeah, we've got a chocolate-filled banana. It is looking and tasting okay. Let's try doing the same thing using just a straight metal straw. In terms of effectiveness on a 1 to 5 scale, I would give this a 2. The real weak link in the system is the fact that the metal tube will plunge, but there's really no way to get that core out. Now let's try the left-handed oil test. By making my left hand slippery, it's going to highlight any deficiencies in the design and areas for improvement. I will squeeze with my right hand and plunge with my left hand. Plunge, twist. And I came out empty once again. Yeah, that's a problem. So I would say lefty or righty, which this still has the same weak link in the system, is that the inside of the banana does not want to come out with this tube. In terms of usability, I would give it a 2. To core it and to pull out and hold the metal part and pull out the red plunger takes a little bit of juggling of pieces. Let's think about a redesign. So you have some geometric problems trying to get a straight tube into a curved banana. And you may just have to wrestle with that. I don't know how to solve that. One thing that could possibly be done is to create an internal thread. So basically what you're doing is screwing the tube down. Again, I'm going to just quickly draw the tube. If there was a way to turn this into a screw mechanism, we'd be a lot more successful at pulling out the core. These threads would grab onto it as the banana is being pulled out, or the core of the banana is being pulled out. I would give that a shot, because there's nothing worse than trying to put a hole in a banana and you can't do it. As for the handle of the banana, no complaints about that. Who doesn't like grabbing a small banana? As for a buy rating, I would give the Destapa banana core a 1 out of 5. Problem is, it didn't want to pull the core out of the banana, which you would think is important. Bananas deserve more care and understanding. Watermelon slicer. Its purpose in life is to cut 12 equal slices of watermelon. So, this is not the largest watermelon I've ever seen, but we'll give it a shot. And now, that took a little bit of work because I am making that many slices at once. It looks pretty good when it opens up. You have to fight over who gets the tube, I guess, in the middle. But that wasn't terrible. That actually worked pretty well. It did not cut all the way through, but I think that was my technique. There we go. Let's see if I went all the way down. It's alive, but it's not cutting all the way through. Maybe okay with the fact that it didn't slice all the way through, and I think these pieces will just break off. Time to eat the tube. Best watermelon tube I've ever had. Let's see how the watermelon slicer compares to doing it the old-fashioned, boring way. In terms of effectiveness, I would give the watermelon slicer a 5 out of 5. It cut the watermelon quickly, and you ended up with a pretty nice looking display of watermelon slices. Plus you get a tube of watermelon that your family could fight over. So it's time for the left-handed oil test, and really this is a two-handed operation. So the question would be, how controllable or slippery is it? And I am going to position it and push down, and this one's a little bit harder to get started. But I could do it. You really have to get a little bit of body weight in there. There was a little bit less control based on the shape of these handles, but we still got the tube, so we're good. In terms of usability, I would give this a 4. I think there's still a little bit of room for improvement. Okay, let's think about a redesign. Mechanically, of course, this is pretty simple. So one small thing I was thinking of is I would look at the bottom edges of these blades and think about making them serrated in the sense like a bread knife would be serrated. I think it would help stabilize the watermelon a little bit more and maybe start cutting through the watermelon a little smoothly. When you start the curvature of these handles, I think I would exaggerate that curve a bit. Come down just slightly deeper, so that when you push, your hand's a little more secure inside there. In terms of a buy rating, I would give the watermelon slicer a 5. I think it works really well. The only downside is going to be the family arguments about who gets the center. Cocoa Taps, coconut tapper. Its purpose in life is to tap into a coconut and give it a reclosable spout. Let's see how effective it is. Take off this green part and reveal this tooth end of the tube, which I assume I plunge and twist into the coconut. Essentially, I'm drilling it by hand. Boy, at this point, at home, I think I would go get the power drill. Whoa! Okay, the spout has a reverse thread, so I need to twist it counterclockwise. The reason for that, I'm sure, is once the spout's on, you want to untwist the cap, but not untwist the coconut. So here's the wrench part of the handle. It's a hex wrench. Put it on the tapper and start twisting until I feel it is tight enough. Pull the cap off. And now that looked like it would have been great, but actually nothing came out. Did we get an empty coconut, or do we have a faulty spout? I feel something sloshing. If I shake it, it's coming out. Well, I guess that could be a function of the threaded part that goes inside the coconut being just too deep. I think you'd rather pour it out. Let's see how that compares to using just a kitchen knife. In terms of effectiveness, I would give this a 1 out of 5. My arms are just too tired to give it anything higher. It's time for the left-handed oil test. Let's test its usability. I'm going to primarily use my left hand to do this. I can see this is not going to be easy, lefty or righty, but especially lefty. You know, the goal here may be just to be patient, but this may take a while. I'm going to just switch hands. I'm going to give up using my left hand. I'm going to see if I have any more luck using my right hand. I'm going to give this just another 20 minutes, then I'm giving up. Oops, through. And let's see if I can start drinking now. Yum, I'm getting nothing. What a letdown. I just don't know how to shake it and drink it at the same time. That worked. In terms of usability, I would give it a 1 out of 5. It takes way too much work and takes way too much time. So let's think about what we can do to improve it. So this tooth tube just is not doing it for me. I think what I would do is look at designing a tool that is more like a screw mechanism. Start to screw and start to tap a hole into the screw, but the handle could just be like a very typical handle that you would see, for instance, on a corkscrew. The reason I would flare this is because as you're twisting, you want to push against something. So the problem is, once this is tapped, it's just not pouring out. And it could be because the tap is too long. So I would either put some holes in here or maybe some sort of slits just to make sure that the coconut water flows even when the coconut water level is relatively shallow. In terms of a buy rating, I would give it a 1. The concept is good. I just don't think this is the way to make that happen. And it does need some lime. Citrus sprayer. Its purpose in life is to turn your limes, lemons, and oranges into miniature spray cans. They come in two sizes in the same package. You get a shorter one and a longer one. I'm going to get started by chopping off the top part of the lemon, and it's screwing in relatively easily. And what I should have now is a lemon sprayer. Ready? Whoa! Don't do that at home. Yeah, I got it in my eye, but it's okay. I think I'll just get comments about it. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Let's see how long I can go before we run out of juice. I'm not getting anything like what I got the first time around. Let's try to juice up the lemon. Let's see what happens now. Oh yeah, that's better. I'm running out now. I still think by the time we're finished, we're going to have a lot of usable lemon left. If you want to use only part of the lemon and waste the rest of it, then I think this could be the tool for you. I'm going to use the longer tap into the lemon, see if I'm any more successful. And yeah, that is spraying pretty well. It's getting into parts of the lemon that I didn't get to before. But again, it's good for a couple of pumps. And then it kind of runs dry. It's not great. And it looks like you're doing something important. Let's say you don't have a citrus spray at home. Let's see how it compares to just giving the lemon a squeeze. So there's a difference. You can see that doing it by hand, you get a lot more juice out of the lemon. In terms of effectiveness, I would give this a 2 out of 5. It's got its cute factor, but boy, it really didn't empty that lemon. I'm going to make my left hand slippery. It really is a two-handed operation. You can see I'm twisting my right hand as much or more than my left hand. Boy, you can definitely feel a difference in it being slippery and a bit out of control. Oh, there it goes, it's starting to spray. Okay, well that's successful. Let's try this again. Oh yeah, it's lemon juice. It's okay, it's not feeling great on my finger. I'm doing a lot of squeezing with my left hand, which is probably more strength or more effort than I would like. If you have any finger problems or dexterity problems at all, it's going to be really difficult to use your fingertip. In terms of usability, I would give this a 2 out of 5. You get diminishing returns pretty quickly, and your hand just isn't feeling great. Let's think about a redesign. What would I do to redesign this to make it a little bit easier to use and more effective? I'm tracing a lot of fruit today. Twisting this into the lemon is okay, although I may look at making this shape a little bit different. It's a little bulbous right now. I think I'll trace it as it is, but I think I would make this shape just a little pointier so that it pierces the lemon a little more easily. As for the pump itself, I think that's where you're really relying on the fingertip, which is the weakest linkage in the finger. I think I would look at turning this into a two-fingered pump, kind of like you're pumping Windex, so that you can actually get 2 fingers here. So the trigger would be a little bit easier to pump. This would still be the spray. So the action would be more like this. It would still spray forward, but I think that can be worked out. I think you'll still be stuck with the fact that you'll get only a couple of good sprays out of this before you need to roll it around the table. By rating, I would give the citrus sprayer a 3. I think it has entertainment value. Just be ready to do a little bit of work if you really want to empty this lemon. Also, some personal advice, keep this away from your eyes. Strawberry slicer. It is designed to cut a strawberry into slices with one quick squeeze. Remove the green part of the strawberry. Based on this shape, I'm going to stick the strawberry in, skinny side first, and let's give it a squeeze. That worked pretty well. The slices look fine. Don't think it would work as well if the strawberry was a little more resistant. And here's one that's not quite as ripe. I'm going to try one more larger strawberry. Let's give it a squeeze. Still not that bad. It was okay. I could pretty quickly get through this bowl of strawberries if I needed to slice them all. Let's see how the strawberry slicer compares to a plain old kitchen knife. In terms of effectiveness, I would give the strawberry slicer a 4. It cuts very quickly. there's just a little bit of resistance that I detected. Let's test its usability. My hands are normal male size, but I'm really giving a stretch to that pinky, and I'm really on my fingertips. So I think this angle is excessive, but I think my left hand, being slippery, is doing a little more complaining about it. So I will squeeze, and it worked okay. Let's try another one. Oh, now I'm sure you didn't see that, but I had a pinch point. These two pieces come together, but I've got the pad of my finger here got caught just a little bit. Still, it was quick. It wasn't difficult. In terms of usability, I would give this a 3 out of 5. I just don't think they considered smaller hands or slippery hands in the design. Yeah, I just pinched myself again. Wow. Okay, it's time for a redesign. Let's see what I would suggest. Okay, there's my strawberry, about to get sliced to bits. The shape of these handles and the amount of throw, the amount of movement you have to make is really a bit excessive. So I would look at a way to resolve that, either by shaping the handle or giving some sort of curvature to it to keep your fingers a little more in place. I'd also work on something to eliminate that pinch point. There are a couple of ways to do that. One is to increase the gap. Another is to just put a fin on here so it keeps your skin away from that crevice. The way this is designed, the first couple of millimeters of squeeze move that strawberry a lot, which means the leverage is less than you would hope. When you get down to the bottom, that same amount of movement in the lever creates just a little bit of movement of the strawberry. So you need a lot more force to get the strawberry started. There's less force to finish the strawberry. I would do the opposite. I think I would experiment by making that curve in the opposite direction, either making that curve straight or trying to see if I can make that curve do something different, that movement do something different by having that curve go that way. In terms of a buy rating, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5. It does its job pretty well, but I did pinch myself several times during the demonstration, and I don't like getting bitten by my kitchen tools. So the interesting thing about fruit gadgets, as opposed to some other things you may find in the kitchen, is there's a celebration to it. There's a fun aspect to eating fruit. And the best gadgets you can find will build upon that excitement. The best gadgets have that spark. They may be hard to come by, obviously hard to come by, but I really think the design teams and the engineering teams could have spent a little more time in the kitchen with some of these gadgets.